Right. Week two got our upper body one workout. I believe it's day 5 of the cut vlog. It's either day 5 or 6 of the cut vlog. Can't remember. But on upper one in the first week, I opened up the session. I have it programmed with deadlifts to open up the session, but I am quite sore and feeling stiff. So I'm actually going to open up just to kind of grease the groove a little bit, get some blood in the muscles, and just warm up, right? Because I'm sore. I'm a little bit sore. I'm a little bit stiff, so I don't want to go deadlifts right off the gate because just not going to feel great. So do upper back bias row here. Last week I completely overshot the rep range, so I did 176. I think I got like 15 or 16 reps. Supposed to be in the 8 to 10 rep range. So that tells me, because I overshot the rep range so much, it's like, hey, add some weight. So that's what we're doing this week. I've added some weight, and we'll see kind of what reps we can get into with a little bit more weight. So let's get into set 1 or 2 here. Boom. Oh. Better. Better. Rest a little bit. Hit another set there. Getting into set 2 here. So I'm actually gonna raise this up just a little bit. I want to see what this feels like. And so again, I'm supposed to be hitting 8 to 10 here. I believe I got like 13 reps on the first one. That doesn't mean that that was not an effective set just because I got more reps than what the program calls for. The rep range is an arbitrary thing. It's a mark for you to hit failure. That's basically it. As long as you are hitting failure, that's all that matters. The goal is not the rep range. The goal is hitting a point of failure. Whether you do that at 8 reps or 20 reps, it doesn't really matter. If you ever at a point where you get to the top of your rep range and you have more reps in the tank, just keep going. And if you completely blow that rep range out of the water, that's your sign to next week, hey, increase the weight a little bit, All right, let's see here. Oof. Oof. Mm. Oof. Mm. Oof. 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 We're gonna do a couple cheetah reps. Not counting those, just wanted to touch it a little bit more. So 13 on the first set, 12 on the second set. Back feels warmed up, shoulders feel warmed up. So go ahead and move into deadlifts now. So my wireless mic definitely wasn't recording any of the shit that I'm saying right now in the clip, but um, basically we're getting into the working weight here. So I've got 405 loaded up on the bar, and for this movement for deadlifts, I'm running a percentage-based progression. So in the second week of this training block, I've got deadlifts at 70% for 4 sets of 4. It's technically supposed to be 410, but I don't have the change plates that I need to hit 410 exactly. So 405 it is. The last warm up was feeling a little bit heavy, but just trying to focus on building some good tension off the ground and moving through the reps with intention. So getting into the first set. So I'm trying to remember what I was saying here, but I think I was talking about the difference for me in using straps with deadlifting versus not using straps. I like to take my brace and get my position when I deadlift at the top of the movement, right? And then just go down, grab the bar, and stand up with it. That's where I feel strongest at. But in order to do that with this sort of weight, you really need to have like a mixed grip. And that's not something I'm willing to do at this point in time. So having to use straps, I have to establish my position and brace at the bottom, and it just ends up feeling a little bit heavier. Whenever I can just brace at the top, take a big breath of air, get my position, and just grab the bar and go, I can I can pull it off the ground like fast and with speed. But when I have to fuck around at the bar, get the straps, and then breathe, it just feels a little bit harder. But I'm willing to accept that because I don't want to mess around with the mixed grip. I am terrified of tearing my bicep. I've already partially torn my left bicep, so I don't want to fuck around with an over under grip. I'd rather it just feel harder and use straps and not have to have that in the back of my mind. All right, we got bench press next. Week one, 60% was 205, a measly 205 pounds. Week two, we are at 245 pounds, supposed to be 240, but again, I don't have the change plates required to hit 240, so it's either 235 or 245, right? 225, 230, 235. Yeah, it's either 235 or 245. So opting for 245 on this one. Just trying to keep everything clean. Everything pauses, not trying to get much of the stretch reflex. Just pause it, keep it safe, keep it clean. 4 sets of 4. I record the first and the last. So let's get into it. Piece of cake. I can probably run through these pretty quick. Pressing feels pretty good I'm still battling some issues. Basically, what it feels like when I bench press is that I'm constantly like my right arm is, or that I am closer, my head is closer, my vision on the bar always seems like closer to the right side than the left. And probably what it is either something in my shoulder that's not allowing this scap to kind of move the way it should, or something in my rib cage where one side of the rib cage is a little bit more compressed and rotated than the other, and it just throws everything off. And for a long time, it really just was super frustrating. And just I didn't want to bench press because of it. But it's not perfect. It's better, but not perfect. Through watching stuff like that Jonathan Warren puts out, just understanding how to breathe to create expansion through your rib cage and upper back and chest, like it's been very, very helpful. So a lot of it is still over my head, but I've picked up little bits and pieces that have definitely helped me and that I've added to my toolbox. So hey, I am well aware that my pants are blown out. Like 90% of my pants are blown out in the crotch. It is what it is. Last set here. I think what I'm gonna do is just do a real conservative AMRAP. So going off plan, getting crazy, but just do a real conservative AMRAP. It feels very light, it feels good. So the second things get challenging or shit starts to break down, I'm just gonna rack it. So not shooting for like all failure, seeing how many clean reps I can get before our shit starts kind of getting to that point. Yeah, that's good. I think that was like 8 reps. Yeah, that's not bad. I think the week before I started this, I did 245 for like 15 or something like that. The pauses weren't like clean like that. I was just kind of rolling through the reps. So not bad, not bad. So next up, we've got an upper back pull down and pretty much full stack here. Full stack plus a 10. So last week I just did the full stack, overshot my reps. So full stack plus a 10, and we'll see what we come up with here. The pump cover has been deactivated. Getting warm, getting sweaty. 15. I got 15 last week too on the first set, so I'm actually going to go ahead and bump this up even higher for the next set. All right, so this is 198, so about a 10-pound jump. I guess it would be 12-pound jump. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Ten. I'm actually going to do a little drop set here and just slang some of them. Okay. Good, good. On to the next one. Smith close grip bench. Last week got a plate for 12 and 10. So 12 first set, 10 second set. The rep range is 10 to 12. We're going to shoot for more than 12 reps on both of these sets. And then next week, hopefully we'll push it up a little bit. So a note on close grip. Close grip isn't anything in particular other than closer than what you would normally bench press, right? And within that, hey, I'm using this as a tricep movement. So if I can put my hand somewhere that doesn't necessarily look close, but it still for me is on tricep, that's fine. That's what you're shooting for. Ooh, good money. Rest one more like that. Shit. Woo. All right. We go up next week.
Moving into a single arm behind the back lateral raise. I like these a lot because there's still a lot of tension down at the bottom versus something like a dumbbell lateral raise where there's essentially no tension on the delt at the bottom. And just keeping the arm behind the back, it seems to enhance that tension at the bottom a little bit. But something I've been paying attention to is not letting my hand get too far behind my body, because it seems like the tension can drop off a little bit the more in line my arm gets with the cable. So you can see at that bottom point, the cable is basically a 90-degree angle to my wrist or my arm. And if I were to let that keep going back, let my arm keep going back, you know, that angle starts to open up a little bit more, and with that, the tension drops off. Of course, my mic again, you know, it stopped recording for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on, but I think I remember what I was talking about here, and it's basically just that when you get towards the end of your set, when you're starting to get all the feels and the pain has crept in and you're feeling that fatigue rising up, one of the best things that you can do is actually to slow down. So natural instinct is to speed up, speed the reps up, get it done faster. But you really, at that point, you want to flip that completely upside down and actually move slower and push further into that pain. And it's easier said than done, but it's really something that if you can make that mental switch and just say, hey, when it starts hurting, I'm actually going to slow down. I think it can be highly beneficial, especially because towards the end of the set, like that's when stuff really starts to fall apart. So if you're driving a car at 100 miles an hour, it's a lot harder to make an adjustment than it is driving a car at 30 miles an hour. Second to last movement here is a single arm cable press down. And I like this movement. It's easy on the elbows. I can line everything up really nicely. So at the bottom of the movement, I'm just making sure that cable is right in line with my upper arm. And you can kind of look down and check this, when you're in the movement, and everything feels real nice. I like to use the D handle on this. So you can see I've got the D handle rather than using something like a cuff. I find that using the D handle and giving me something to actually grip onto rather than just kind of loosely having my hand in the cuff gets me a little bit more out of my triceps and actually makes my elbows feel better for some reason. Closing out the session with some ab wheel rollouts. I haven't done these in a long while. I actually just bought the ab wheel. I had been doing just rope crunches and hanging leg raises, and I wanted to get this in the mix because I hate doing planks. Like, I really need to be doing them, but I hate doing them. And so this is kind of a 2-for-1 where you're getting that transverse abdominis that you would normally be training in something like a plank, and you're also getting the rectus abdominis, the abs you actually see. So you're getting a 2-for-1 here. So I really like these. Just trying to make sure that I'm not letting my back sag and arch and just trying to keep that brace. And you feel a lot, not just through your abs, but also in your triceps and your lats. And, you're getting something out of your serratus. So this is a good bang for your buck ab movement. Maybe if I could only pick one, it might be this one. Maybe like this one and crunches or something like that. I think that covers a lot of your ab training bases. If you really wanted to get in the weeds, maybe something for rotation. All right, so that's a wrap on upper one. Pretty good session. Slowly just ramping up, getting into some better numbers. Again, just taking it easy in these first couple weeks. But next week is going to be the point where, stuff starts getting pretty fun. We get into some higher loads with the deadlift and the bench, so pretty excited for that. And then after that, it's like, we're all in. So, first week it's like, dipping the toes in. Second week it's like, okay, we're about, hip deep, maybe like knee deep. And then, we just keep getting deeper and deeper as we go. Yeah, I've got 2 more training sessions in this week. I've got lower 2 and then a shoulders and arms day. And the split, which I probably mentioned in the other videos, it just flip-flops. It goes upper 1, lower 1, upper 2, shoulders and arms. And then the following week, it goes lower 2, upper 1, lower 2, shoulders and arms. So every other week, upper body's being hit twice a week. Every other week, lower body's being hit twice a week. Really digging this. Going to keep running this for a while. Nothing to it but to do it. Close this one out, and I'll see you on the next one.